In this video, we will write expressions in expanded, which is factored form, and exponential form, and simplify expressions using addition and subtraction. So first, let's talk about what an exponent is. This is actually in your foldable, so if you didn't copy this down already in your foldable, please make sure you do. An exponent is a power that indicates how many times a base should be multiplied by itself. So if we have something like 4 to the third power, that means we're multiplying 4 times 4 times 4. In this example here, the 2 is our exponent. It's also worth noting here that the exponent is only a power of the x, which is our base. The exponent is not associated with the 3 here. The base in this case happens to be a variable as well. The 3 does have its own name. It is the coefficient. Now, all of this together, the 3x squared, is what we consider a term. Terms are separated by addition and subtraction. Another way to write this term is 3 times x times x. This is what we consider factored form. So we have some examples here. We're going to write out each term in factored form on the left and write in exponential form on the right. So I'm going to do a couple of these examples, and then the rest you need to do on your own. So x to the 5th, what does that look like in factored form? Well, x times x times x times x times x. That exponent of 5 tells us to multiply x 5 times. Then we have x times x times x, and we want to write that in exponential form. So what is that going to look like? That's going to look like x cubed. We're multiplying the x 3 times, so the 3 becomes our exponent. Okay, take a look at number 3 here. We have xy and then the squared around it. That means the square is going to apply to both the x and the y. So we could write it as xy times xy, or we could even factor it even further and say it's x times y times x times y. All right, the rest you need to do on your own. Next, we're going to talk about how we can combine or add or subtract like terms. So I want to introduce a word called a monomial. That mono prefix means 1. So we have an algebraic expression with only one term. So some examples of that are 3x to the 4th. There's only one term there. Or 7ab squared. Even though there's more than one variable, they're not separated by addition or subtraction, so it's still only one term. We can also have fractional coefficients, so 1/2 m squared n cubed is also considered only one term. The rules for adding or subtracting like terms are that the variables and exponents have to be the same. So as we look at this example here, 17x and 25x, the variables are both x, and the exponents on that x value are both 1. So we can combine that expression into a monomial and get negative 8x. But if it doesn't follow this first rule, if we can't combine anything, we leave it alone. For example, in 2ab plus 9ac, they both have an a, but one has a b and one has a c, so they don't have the same variables. So we can't combine these terms, and so we leave it alone. These next 4 problems are on your own. Make sure and have them copied down in your notes. Here we have different terms with different variables. As I look at this first example, I notice that I have a 3y and a 4y, and a 9z and a negative 3z. I can only combine the ones that have the same variable and same exponent. So I can only combine the 3y and the 4y to be 7y, and then 9z and negative 3z to be 6z. These last three problems are on your own problems.